Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bethany, Oklahoma, as we are here in the home of the Eagles in Pickens Springer Gymnasium. And today, the University of North Texas Trailblazers come into town to try to secure the number 8 seed in the Sooner Athletic Conference. My name is Parker Lane, and I'm joined today, as usual, by Luke Young. Luke, these are two teams that are fighting for that number 8 seed in the Sooner Athletic Conference. Both of them have a lot to lose today. The winner comes out with sole possession and a chance to go to the NCCAA playoffs. Now, the season's not over, but both of these teams are going to fight like it's their last chance. Luke, what is it going to take for both of these teams to separate themselves today, come out on top over competition that's pretty even with each other?
Absolutely. Talk about a good matchup. For the Eagles, they're missing their leading scorer, Lou Machado Jr. Overcoming his absence is going to be a key in this game. And as far as the Trailblazers go, they are 1-8 on the road. A little bit lacking in that regard, but they've definitely got the firepower themselves to get it done tonight.
Well, the last two times these teams faced each other was on January 7th, and the Trailblazers came away with the win 79-69. We'll see if they can come back today, but don't count the Eagles out too much. As Luke, today it is senior day, and we are recognizing some of our seniors, and you're seeing some new faces in the starting lineup for this team specifically. The Eagles, Taylor Turner, the senior, cracked the starting lineup along with Jakeem Wynn, two faces that we don't normally see in the starting group. And of course, you're looking at faces like Jordan Williams, Jonathan Baruti, and you mentioned it earlier, Lou Machado is a senior, but he is not here today. And as we are now a minute into gameplay, Jakeem Wynn will have the first points for either team, putting in a jumper. It'll put his team up top early.
Very smart decision by Jakeem Wynn. He saw the defender crouching hard and took it himself. And although the last two matchups have gone in the favor of UNT, the Eagles have been closing the gap. They only lost by 10 their last matchup. So this is a team that, as you said, you cannot count out.
Excellent defensive pressure by the Eagles leads to a turnover. Jordan Williams kicks it out. Wynn once again. And a bank shot for three. Luke, my bank's not open on Saturdays. Looks like it is for Wynn, though.
That's what I was going to say. Looks like Jakeem Wynn's bank is open and taking customers.
So UNT Dallas now with a chance to respond. Had some space on the outside arc. It's going to be Weston taking it in. No good. And Jordan Williams and company have a chance to make it at least a 7-point lead early off of a made field goal here. Tough contested shot, won't fall. Coleman fast the other way. This time it's a foul on Moore. And let me tell you, Luke, he is going to be trouble for the Eagles today. He's averaging 19 points a game, 8.5 rebounds. The Houston native does it all for this team, and he is the one that is going to be the difference maker, I think, for the Blazers.
Absolutely. As you say, he's been a huge part of every game. The senior guard is, well, he's a mainstay on the court, and he's surrounded by amazing players like Sean Hopkins, Braylon Patterson, who, as we've seen in prior games, does not back down from a challenge. So this game, this is going to be a nail-biter, I think, when it comes down to the final minute.
Well, he'll put away both of his free throws. So it's now a 3-point game as we're almost 2.5 minutes into gameplay here. The Eagles find some penetration with Williams. They're going to kick it out to Wynn. Another 3 attempt. This time it won't fall. Coleman drops it inside, and a block by Baruti. His long reach leads to a turnover.
And if you're the Eagles, you love to see that. That's something you want throughout this game, not just in the start, I have to say.
Baruti calls his own number and kicks it out now. Moore. 8 to shoot. Shoot he will. That 3 off the mark. Pulled down by Weston. Weston once again, no hesitation, driving the lane. So now Eagles kick it out. Moore fires another shot, this one from inside, and this time it's good.
They are working the far side of the court right now on offense. And so far, UNT has not had an answer for the two-headed monster that is Ronald Moore's team win.
The corner three open for UNT, no good. Win with the rebound. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint here as to the Blazers' gameplay. They are 222nd in all of NAIA for three-point attempts, and they are number 227th in threes made. Luke, this is not a team that's going to work you from the outside arc.
No, absolutely not. That was something we saw in this last matchup, actually. Both teams in the second half, I think, if I've got this right, the Eagles took no shots from three in the second half of their last matchup. And I think UNT only took three and maybe made one. Neither of these teams are exclusively three-point shooters. They like to work the paint. And if you weren't expecting that tonight, I don't know what teams you've been watching.
Moore's shot from the elbow, no good, and it will be a physical one. I think we're going to see a lot of Jonathan Baruti excel with the defensive presence tonight. 6'9", native of the Congo, now on the bench. Braylon Patterson has checked in his stead. Offensive rebound by the Blazers. The ball can't be pulled down until Jordan Williams finally gets it out of the hands of McLean.
Jordan Williams can also have a huge impact on this game.
Williams tries to put some offensive pressure off ball on. Braylon Patterson in the corner now. That three falls. Splash.
It's a beautiful sound, isn't it?
And the Eagles are out to a blazing hot start, up 8 with a score of 10-2 in the first 5 minutes. Spot up shot, no good by West, and the Eagles have a chance to grow this into double digits strikingly early. I think they're going to call Taylor Turner there as out of bounds. I didn't quite see that.
Me neither, to be honest with you.
So it looks like the Blazers will make another substitution. Tariq Amon checks in. Hasheem Weston sits down, the senior.
Here's a three.
No good for Coleman. Eagles can't quite hold on to it. And now Amon has his chance at a three, and that one falls.
There's UNT's first three of the competition. Now 1 for 4 from beyond the arc.
Taylor Turner tries to swap threes, just a little bit off the money. And it looks like Coach Brandon Rollins is seeing the same things that we are, Luke. And when it comes to these two teams, he understands that UNT is not going to be a team that will shoot the three ball a whole lot. So he's going to let them have those open looks. Again, when you're 227th in threes made, you can afford to give up a few looks from the outside arc.
Right. That's a game plan I've seen from a few different teams throughout my 20 years. When teams don't shoot well from threes, you play a little soft. If they start making them, they start making them.
And speaking of making them, there's 2 in a row for Amon and the Blazers. It's now a 2-point game. Tariq Amon on a 6-0 run against the Eagles. And they'll call Ronald Moore with the travel there. So substitutions, Sean Hopkins will check in for the first time this game. Joining him, number 30, Robert Chapman.
And number 5, Sean Hopkins.
As I said earlier, Sean Hopkins could also have a very big impact on this game. He's been really a leader in a lot of these past few games the Eagles have played.
And that's 3 straight threes for the Blazers. That one from Thornton. And you're right, Sean Hopkins, normally a starter for this team, coming off the bench today because it is senior day. He has some room inside. Just a little bit too much pressure. He wanted a foul, didn't get it. Now the Blazers are hustling the other way. They say it was last touched by a white jersey. And it appears that the Trailblazers will call a timeout. So with just about 13 minutes in this one, Off of a 9-0 run from the Trailblazers, your Eagles are down 1. Score of 10-11. We talked a lot about how this wasn't a three-point shooting team. They come out, they knock down 3 straight threes. Could be a case of the broadcaster's curse.
Yeah.
Not going to say that's on us.
Proved us wrong, didn't they? UNT Dallas now 3 of 7 from beyond the arc. Your SU Eagles 2 of 6.
3 from 7 though. That's still only 42%. That's pretty good, but that's not scorching, not by any means.
No, it just all came in quick succession. It wasn't really spread out. There wasn't a lot of time for the Eagles to put their own points up in between. It was just knock down a 3, get the ball back, knock down a 3, get the ball back, knock down another 3. What do you do when you got to stop someone from getting hot like that?
Well, it's not just one person either, Luke. It's a team effort. And speaking of team effort, there's Rusk, who just checked into the game for the Trailblazers, putting away a 2, so it is now a 3-point game. I gotta say, the Eagles look a little bit confused at the sudden burst of offense. Moore takes it inside, has some room, tries the wide left-hand finish. And the Trailblazers moving just a little bit too fast for the Eagles. Amon is 3 for 3 from beyond the arc.
Wow.
And talk about a heat check here in Pickens Springer Gymnasium. Hopkins has to pick up his shot, and he will put that one down. Stopping Luke, what I believe to be close to an 8 to 10 point run for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, the Eagles definitely needed those 2 from Hopkins right there.
That 3, no good. It is pulled down by a Trailblazer. That time it was Moore. And Moore grabs his own missed shot again. The Eagles unable to rebound. So he will be fouled on the floor.
Well, they can't let that happen. That's actually something we saw in the women's game a lot, was the Eagles kept getting rebound after rebound on the offensive side of the floor. And now in the men's game, if UNT starts getting those rebound chains, it's going to be a long game.
So Jonathan Baruti will come back in. Moore will sit down for the first time this game. I imagine the Blazers a little bit more hesitant to test the restricted zone with Jonathan Baruti checked in. Amon takes that one inside, puts it away. He is the leading scorer for this team by a significant margin.
I guess we were the fools to not expect him to have a big night.
Baruti inside, works his defender. They called him for a travel. So it will be Blazers ball with 11:19 left in this first half. You're looking at the scoreboard, and it's only been a few minutes, but it's hard to even remember a time when the Eagles were up 8.
That's just how quick these games can turn around at this level. Like you said, we're on the fringes of a playoff. These teams they're not, let's just say they're going to play all out.
A good off-ball screen from the Blazers led to an open 3 from Rusk this time, and it forces Coach Rollins to take a timeout. Now, Luke, we talked about it a little in the girls' game, and for those unfamiliar, I am an Alabama alum, University of Alabama, and something that you hear head coach Nick Saban a lot is don't eat the rat poison, tune out the external noise, and sometimes it's really hard, especially on a day like today, senior day, where the focus is you as the individual player. For some of these young men, it's hard sometimes to tune that out, but they're going to have to refocus and honestly play their best basketball to erase this 9-point deficit pretty early in this game.
Absolutely. They could use a refocusing of the offensive attack. I think the defensive look UNT is giving is a little bit different from what they were expecting. They're not quite getting the openings I think they're looking for. So making a small adjustment on that side of the ball I think will go a long way to evening this one back up. Oh, interestingly, number 14, Tariq Amon, only averages about 9 points per game according to Presto Sports.
Well, he has his 9 points and some within 7 minutes of this one. Sometimes you just wake up and you have the hot hand, and I think that that's Amon today. Here you see Jordan Williams leading the charge, and like any good point guard, he has a plethora of assists to go to his name. As the handoff to Hopkins there is put away. Luke, can you tell me the lead for the Blazers right now?
Is it at 7?
It's at 7. There's Amon, step back. He can't miss.
I couldn't tell you what got into that kid today.
Somebody ate his Wheaties this morning. Rudy bouncing around their restricted zone. That ball doesn't find the bottom of the net. Trailblazers now in possession. Rudy tips it out of the hands of Rusk. Tries again, and now a corner to baseline drive is picked off by Hopkins, and they say that it will stay with the Eagles after it was knocked out of bounds by a blue jersey. You mentioned Jordan Williams earlier and the assists that he has. Well, Luke, let me tell you, with 301 career assists, he holds the record for the Eagles for most assists in a career. Celebrate him some on senior night, huh?
Absolutely. I'm all here for it. The last time these two teams met, he had 5 assists on the day. So he is no stranger to moving the ball around when given this defensive scheme.
So Chapman crossing the court, has some space, turnaround, fires, finds the bottom of the net. And that's not a 3, but that's pretty ice cold for 30 below. And a great hustle on defense forces the forces the Blazers to have to try something new. Chapman again, a pest. Now with the switch, he's on Amon. Has to get rid of it. 2 to shoot. Right hand floater, no good. Nobody even close to rebounding. So Williams has a rebound and the fast break.
Nothing happening there.
I feel like the net in that position is a stoppage of clock. I feel like that's a rule, actually. Looks like they won't, and Weston will have a shot.
Looks like we had a fan run over and fix it for us.
And
shout out to that guy.
Yeah. Williams wide open underneath the basket. Sean Hopkins had great vision there.
Absolutely, I couldn't have said it any better. That was great floor vision and a very quick pass for an easy 2.
Amon, the junior from Coppell, Texas, is still on the court and still being a floor general for the Blazers. Another 3 attempt from him. This one no good. Finally starting to cool off, much to the appreciation of the Eagles.
Williams' attempt no good.
McLean of the Blazers will pull it down. Hand off to Rusk. Takes it inside. Tries the acrobatic right hand finish and gets it to go.
The athleticism of UNT Dallas is on full display through this first half. Got to see what the SU answer is.
So halfway through the shot clock. They still haven't found anything they like. Ooh, and they're going to get Curtis Coleman on a foul. He knew that was coming for him, too. Got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. So some of the seniors will check back in. Jakeem Wynn, Taylor Turner, Ronald Moore. So you've got 3 seniors with Sean Hopkins and Braylon Patterson. This isn't necessarily a large lineup, Luke, but this is a lineup that has a lot of heart and a lot of jumping ability. They can really get up there.
Hey, dude, you saw, if that foul wasn't in there, Braylon might have actually blocked that shot. To speak to the jumping ability of some of these guys.
So they're going to get Moore with a blocking foul.
Eagle foul number 23, Ronald Moore, second personal.
So here's leading scorer Jules Moore at the line.
Trailblazers number 10, Jules Moore.
Jules Moore, man, he is the guy to watch out for. Last time these two met, he led the team with 28 points.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, just a
Not
little
every
bit.
day you see 28 points.
Yeah.
So Moore going 1 and 1 from the free throw line. It's a double-digit lead. If you had told me it would be a double-digit lead after the first 3 minutes, I would have thought it would be in favor of the Eagles. Hopkins calls his own number, bounces around, hits the bottom.
It's like, again, he wants a call and is just not getting it.
I don't think he's gotten a single call yet today, and he's wanted a few of them. Moore turnaround shot, no good. Doing his best Robert Chapman impression out there. Just can't quite get that one to sink.
No one does it quite like 30 below, huh?
No one indeed. Hopkins tries to drive the lane, gets stopped. Turner now outside. The Eagles have to reset. I believe that foul is going to be on Sean Hopkins.
Eagle foul number 0, Taylor Turner.
Well, that's on Taylor Turner.
Well, if you saw right there, Ronald Moore a little bit frustrated with the offensive game plan. Looked like he wanted that ball from Turner. Turner just opted to try and make something happen himself.
Wynn calling for a switch, wants Turner on Rusk. Here's Rusk, baseline drive, has to go up against Hopkins and Patterson. So that foul this time will be on Hopkins for sure.
Eagle foul number 5, Sean Hopkins. First personal 15 foul.
So here's Rusk at the line.
At the line, number 2, Larry Rush.
Luke, I think the Eagles are going to have to play a little bit smarter here. Clean things up some.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same thing. We're in our pretty early foul trouble. I mean, we're more than halfway through the first half,
Number
but
24, Jordan Williams.
we've almost put UNT into bonus with 6.5 left to play in the first half. That's just not where you want to be.
Well, Jordan Williams hits the court once more, and joining him for the first time today, Darren Ryan, the junior from Moore, checks in. Moore. Showing he's not afraid to shoot the three today. Would rather get it inside to Williams, though. Finds some space, and now the kick out to Turner. It will be out of bounds, however, and another turnover. Say what you will about the Trailblazers and how they're performing today. A lot of that has to do with Coach Josh Howard, a former Dallas Maverick, now coaching at University of North Texas at Dallas. Was on the team when Dirk Nowitzki won a ring, his only finals MVP, his only ring for the Mavericks. A legendary performance, and Coach Josh Howard was a part of that.
Oh.
Darren Ryan is getting fouled by number 10, Jules Moore. It looked like Moore was basically on top of Ryan there.
Yeah, he might have been trying to argue that Ryan actually went under him and not the other way around, but not what the ref saw.
I don't even know what to say about that. There was a whole leg straight up in the air. I was just trying to figure out what happened. Moore step back two from the elbow. Cuts this lead down to 6.
Well, I have to imagine that's why Moore has been frustrated with the offensive game plan. I think he's feeling that shot.
Rusk's shot bounced around, did not go in once again. And look at Wynn right in the way of that pass. Man open in coverage. Blew open the defense there. Another 2 falls for the Trailblazers. Wynn was on fire earlier this game. Made both of his 2 shots. Now Moore steps inside. 2-on-1 for the Blazers. Hard foul. Moore still on the ground.
Actually, I'm
I
not
think
sure
it was
they called that a foul.
They did not. They say that there was enough ball.
It was just a hard landing for Moore there.
Yeah. And so it looks like the Blazers will call a timeout in response.
We got a full timeout.
It will be a full timeout. And Luke, that was a odd series of events.
Yes, but I think the biggest takeaway there is that lead is back down to 8. It's out of the double digits. SU has started to kind of finally settle it down, find a little bit better shots. I think Ronald Moore, the player we were looking out for at the start of this one, was a big part. Finally kind of got the offense to do what he was looking for and put up a good 2. I think we could see a little bit more of that as this one gets into the closing minutes.
Yeah, we'll see how the Eagles respond. This team that they're up against, traditionally not super good from 3, but have been on fire from 3 today. We'll see if the defensive game plan changes any.
The turnovers have been the really big issue. Aside from the fouls, aside from the sort of lack of threes, turnovers. Eagles have 7, Dallas has 1. And I mean, the rebounds, those are pretty close, all things considered. It's just been giving the ball away when you really don't need to.
And UNT of Dallas is not a very large team. In fact, they only have one player. They've got one player that's 6'10 or above. And I'm not saying that the Eagles are a large team by any means either, but this is not a team that has been dominating in the paint.
So Eagles possession. Ronald Moore down in the bottom left corner of your screen.
He's been the spark plug today for sure, Luke.
He's been calling out a lot of cuts and a lot of screens, trying to make something happen off the ball.
A quick 3 from Turner bounces around and falls in.
Turner for 3.
I bet you that feels good for Mr. Turner there.
Starting to get some confidence back in your shot. Not just your shot, but maybe start to get some momentum going for the whole Eagles crew. Trailblazers find an open lane. Say that ball was last touched by an Eagle. I didn't see it. But I suppose if you're an Eagles fan, it beats Amon getting the foul that he wanted there. Jules Moore will check back in once again for the Trailblazers. Seven to shoot. Trailblazers running out of time. They get it to Moore. Inside, and an easy layup for Thornton.
3.5 left to go in the first. It's a 7-point lead for the Trailblazers.
Wind fired a rocket at Moore, managed to hold on. Now the Eagles have to regroup. Turner unable to hold on to the ball there. Moore didn't want to test the basket again. Took a hard fall earlier when he tried. Decides to slow things down. Trailblazers up 7. You don't necessarily need to push the pace right here. Corner 3. No good. Eagles pull it down. Eagles now have an opportunity to make the most off a missed 3 by Weston. Turner, a deep 3, in and out, just off the mark. Come on, blocked from behind by Turner, and he is fouled. That would have been a statement 3 by Turner if he had put that away.
I was just kind of sitting here, mouth ajar, like, is he really about to knock this down?
He almost had it. So Amon is at the line to shoot. His first one good, and some substitutions by both teams. Checking in for the Trailblazers, number 5, Johnson Blair. Jaden Johnson Blair, that is. And Sean Hopkins and Braylon Patterson will come back in for your Eagles.
I think it's important to note with that made free throw that UNT Dallas is now 5 of 8 from the line, and SU hasn't shot a single free throw.
That's a tough spot to be in. Pushing foul on Amon.
Trailblazer foul number 14, Tariq Amon. First foul, 14.
Still not in a foul in the act of shooting, and it looks like a timeout will be called. And it looks like it'll be assessed to the Trailblazers. It will be a full timeout. So with 2:10 left in the first half, Luke, your Eagles down 9. Just can't quite seem to scrap and claw for every inch in this one.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's been a pretty big disparity in the scoring. Right now, the Trailblazers have one player in double-digit points and one nearing it at 7, whereas the Eagles, the closest they have is Sean Hopkins with 6. There just has not been a lot of scoring on the home side of this game. And to the credit of the Trailblazers, they have been merciless when the Eagles give them turnovers. They have 7 points off of turnovers. They are not letting those opportunities go by when they get them.
I know it's easy sometimes to be a commentator and say simple things like, well, the Eagles will have to score more if they want to win. But it doesn't make it any less true in this situation. Some offensive production will have to be squeezed out of this team somehow if they want to even remain in this one.
To their credit, for the shots they have taken, they're shooting almost 50% from the field. They just haven't taken a lot of shots from the field.
So Jordan Williams will inbound. Gets it to the corner, more, 3, into the hands of Braylon Patterson. Excuse me, Sean Hopkins now. He'll lay that one in.
See, that was actually a pass.
Ah, because it didn't hit the rim,
Yes,
that's right.
So that was his plan the whole time, as you can tell.
And an interesting decision from Coach Rollins to go with the full court press, and it pays off for the Eagles. It forces the Blazers to produce a turnover, caught them flat-footed. Hopkins for Williams, mismatch down low. He's just got Amon to beat. Instead he's going to kick it out for Patterson, a 3. That one falls. Now a quick 5-point swing for the Eagles. Now just down 4 off a turnover. Ryan, 3. Not quite there. Patterson with the rebound, holds on. And I think it's going to be a defensive foul there called on Johnson Blair.
Well, you wanted it, and the Eagles gave it. There's your offensive production. And all it came with was a full court press change from the coaches.
It's amazing. I don't think the Eagles will continue that all game. But to catch your opponent off guard for just 2 possessions, they can't quite adjust, regroup. It's paying off dividends for Coach Rollins and company. So it was a foul on Johnson Blair. The Eagles do have it inside of Hopkins. Just a little bit too much on that layup, and now the Trailblazers do have it. You are not seeing the full court press.
You could feel the disappointment in that miss throughout the gym. There was a collective sigh of disappointment after that one didn't go in.
Moore is fouled. There's some confusion within the gym. Looks like one ref said that was on the ground and one said that it was in the act of shooting. So looks like they will call it a good basket. So here's an and-one opportunity. And Luke, a scary spot to be in. The Eagles have now put the Trailblazers in the bonus.
They're lucky there's only a minute left, but they've got to play this minute clean. You want that, if you're going to go into half down, you want it as close as it can possibly be.
So Eagles taking a lot of time off the shot clock, now in the single digits. Moore has it underneath, though. That's knocked out by Moore. Some more on more action. Let me tell you, Luke, I want some more.
I like what you did there.
And the Eagles will have possession only with 5 to shoot, however. Let's see what inbound play Coach Rollins has. Running out of time. Patterson puts one up. Easy layup. No problem cooking his defender in the restricted zone.
Excellent footwork from the sophomore.
Moore. In and out, no good. Williams with the rebound. 3-second differential between the shot and game clock. Oh!
Aw.
That's a shame that that beauty of a behind-the-back pass didn't count.
See, Ronald Moore is laughing at that one. He knew Jordan Williams was cooking with that one.
Oh, my goodness. That foul on number 10, Jules Moore. And the inbound pass poked out of bounds by the Blazers. So with 25 seconds left, I would expect the Eagles to take their time on this one.
Ronald Moore moving along the baseline.
You hear Coach Rollins say, go low, Darren, go low.
There it is again, another behind the back pass. That's crazy.
You think they would have figured it out the first time.
I feel like I should explain that more, but I'm just too amazed. Like, I don't know, man.
And so at the half, your Eagles still down, but now, after being down 10 at one point, are now only down 2. Luke, looks like the offensive production has kicked in, and it started with a defensive change from Coach Rollins. Quite the impressive last 5 minutes to close things out.
Absolutely, that defensive change made a huge impact. It went from the Trailblazers only having 1 turnover to 3 turnovers in very quick succession. That allowed SU to get back into this one.
Gave them some momentum. Now we'll see if they can keep it as we head into halftime. For Luke Young, I'm Parker Lane, and we will be back in 14. And welcome back to Pickens Springer Gymnasium as we get ready for the second half of SAC basketball as University of North Texas at Dallas men's Trailblazers come into town to take on the Southwestern Christian Eagles. My name is Parker Lane, once again joined by Luke Young. And as we get ready to kick off the second half, the scoreboard is a little closer than this game's been so far, Luke.
Oh, it's about to be even closer.
Oh, I don't know if that should be a trip or not. I think that Turner is a little frustrated at that call. But as I was saying, the scoreboard may be close, but the Blazers have won at almost every level up until this point. Only did a run from the Eagles late in the first half put them in this position to even be this close. Now, Luke, what are you going to have to do in the second half to try to cut that lead some? And I guess it starts with making sure the refs call the right fouls.
Yeah,
I don't know how you control that, though.
I'm not sure. I thought that was for sure going to be a foul, but in order to bring this lead back, I think the Eagles just need to keep doing what they were doing at the end of the first. You know, limit turnovers, make your take your good shots, and find the hot hand.
Find the hot hand indeed. A missed shot from Coleman tries again. He gets that one to fall. I'm not one to comment on what should and shouldn't be a foul. I'm usually pretty partial about that. But that was just a straight-up trip, man. And Barudi's shot. Well, he shot it. We'll leave it at that. Turner there, stepped out of bounds, and the far side ref caught him. And
they teed him up. Yep.
Who'd they tee up there? Turner?
Too much frustration after that was, I think, the third or fourth time they called him for stepping out on this sideline closest to us, and he just let the emotion get the best of him.
Now, I saw it whenever he did, and he did step out of bounds. Definitely had some toe in the black border.
It's so tough because he's been right there every single time making stuff happen defensively, and it just hasn't worked out for him.
So Thornton will shoot the technical for the Trailblazers. And he will make both and turn a 2-point game into a 6-point game. Sean Hopkins and Braylon Patterson come back in. Turner will sit down along with Baruti. And of course, after the technical, the Blazers will maintain possession.
Well, you can't knock Taylor Turner for the effort, at least. It's just unfortunate, really.
Coleman takes it inside, drops it down low, and an emphatic swat by Hopkins stops that shot from McLean.
Oh, yeah, he was all over that one. They're going to give the ball right back to him.
Hopkins. McLean tries to return the favor on the shot by Hopkins, but he's fouled instead, so he'll head to the line to shoot two.
So these will be the first free throws of this entire game that SU will take. And I don't think it really could have come at a better time so far.
Well, we'll see how Hopkins can do with this opportunity. His first one, no good. I think the second half is really going to say a lot about this team. How do you respond to frustration, to being under pressure, to being down some? Can you come back in these close games? I mean, these are two teams that are battling for the 8th seed in the SAC. You're pretty much fighting for a playoff spot here, if I'm being honest, Luke.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, just the unfortunate circumstances SU keeps finding themselves in, and it's still a 6-point game. It's still unbelievably close.
Moore and one opportunity now. That basket hit bottom, and so Moore will head to the charity stripe.
You see, I mean, right there, we got the first free throws of the game. Hopkins misses on both, but he's right back in. It draws another foul. Now he's got himself 2 more chances.
It's actually one more chance, Luke, because he
yes,
made
one more
the
chance.
bucket.
He did make it. My mistake.
Which I'd rather have, to be honest. I'd rather have an and one opportunity.
Thank you for the correction.
So Hopkins now 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Those are anything but free, Luke. Blazers screen and handoff action and a baseline drive. No good. And a second chance for McLean puts in the miss from Thornton.
Sergio McLean.
Williams now cooking on Thornton, takes it inside. Right hand finish finds the bottom of the net.
Yeah, I want to keep seeing that from Jordan Williams in the second half. We kept pointing out players that could have a big impact through the first half of this competition. But right now, I think Jordan Williams could be the game changer.
He's been having an efficient night so far. Hopkins has been out there doing a lot of things, showing a lot of effort, a lot of energy, but Jordan Williams has been playing the long game, the slow burn, play it smart, play it safe type of game. And I'll say that was last touched by a blue jersey, so the Eagles will have it.
Yeah, he's the X factor, really, isn't he? As the point guard, you know, he's always got highs and assists. But when it comes to points, I think it's fair to say he's never really been up there among the team leaders. But in this one, it could be the difference between a win and a loss.
Moore kicks it out, now it's Wynn. Corner three, just a little short, and it falls into the hands of McLean. Now it's Coleman who takes it, tries the jelly, he's fouled. It's another hard hit for a Blazer.
Eagle foul number 5.
So that's on John Hopkins, that's his second.
Second team foul. At the line number 4, Curtis Coleman.
So Coleman will shoot 2. His first one, no problem. And Darren Ryan looks to check in here. He will come in for Wynn, and Chapman will come in for Patterson. And also looking to check in Luke number 14, Tariq Aman for the Trailblazers. He was the spark plug for this team early in the game.
He came alive from the three-point line, to say the least. He knocked down, what, 3 in a row?
3 threes, made it 2, and then another 3 for Aman. Speaking of threes, Robert Chapman tries one, in and out, pulled down by Moore of the Blazers. And Coleman was wide open for a corner 3, lays it short. Williams can't quite hold on. And speaking of not being able to hold on, that's a turnover for the Blazers, so the Eagles will have it.
Mon just put too much on that one, and they got away from the Trailblazers. That might be a bit of a break for the Eagles.
So it looks like the Eagles will take a timeout. Coach Rollins trying to regroup his team, down 6. I mean, you got down 6, and then you kept it there for the last 3 minutes or so.
It's been like a deadlock pretty much. These teams are just going back and forth, back and forth. Turnover numbers climbing for both teams. SU has 11 compared to the Trailblazers 6, but these numbers aren't getting drastically high for one team yet. It's really just come down to the shooting, especially the free throw shooting. Trailblazers are 9 of 13 from the line, and SU is 0 for 3.
Hopkins being the only one to get to the line so far tonight for the Eagles. Yeah, it'd be a 3-point game. That'd be a 1-possession game if Hopkins had made his free throws. No use for ifs or wins, but we'll see how the Eagles can come back after this timeout. Moore fouled on the ground. You saw the last time after a timeout, Coach Rollins decided to implement a press defense that led to some turnovers and some more increased offensive production.
Second foul, 13 foul.
We'll see how they can respond after this one. Everybody's running around. The inbound passer didn't even have the ball in his hands yet. Moore backs down the basket. He's fouled. this time in the act of shooting, so he will head to the charity stripe.
Oh, that's just tough basketball from Ronald Moore there. He could have kicked that one out, but he decided to stick with it and drew the foul.
At the line, Ronald Moore Jr.
So Moore's first one, and that's the first free throw for the Eagles today.
All right, we're in this one. Free throws made. It's a game now.
It's a 4-point game specifically, as Moore puts away both of them. We'd like to take this moment to thank Raising Cane's for sponsoring this broadcast. Thank you so much to Raising Cane's for all of your chicken finger needs. You can find One Love at Raising Cane's. Thank you so much. If you're interested in sponsoring this broadcast or other SCU athletic broadcasts, you can contact the athletic director's office, or more specifically Chase Schlebach, to answer all of your questions about sponsoring, well, any sport really. We're looking for sponsors in all categories right now.
You don't have to look far to find a student that likes Raising Cane's around here. That's a favorite. That's a fan favorite.
Indeed it is. And they'll say that Jordan Williams touched the ball last as it goes out of bounds. So the Blazers, led by Coleman and company, take the offensive possession. You see Ryan and Chapman trying to block the lane. Stall it enough to force a three outside, and that one's nothing but net for Jules Moore.
In the first half, that was almost dominated by Amon at the three-point line. You can't forget about Jules Moore. He's been the team's leading scorer through the season. He's a threat.
But once again, the Blazers have struggled from beyond the arc this season. They are having statistically their best three-point shooting game of conference play tonight.
Always seems to happen against your team, right? That team that struggles in one area just decides to be the best at it for a game.
So Coleman will sit down. Larry Rusk will check back in. Fifth-year senior out of Dallas. Hopkins takes it inside, and one opportunity again for Sean Hopkins. And that's another foul on Jules Moore. Those are starting to rack up. He's got 3 now.
And what an effort again by Sean Hopkins. I mean, he's just so consistent with it, right? He's always there. He's always going to put up points. One of the main pieces this SU offense relies on.
Well, here's the sneaky storyline, Luke, for this second half. The Trailblazers already have 6 fouls. One more in SCU will be in the bonus. They'll start shooting 1-and-1s for team fouls.
I can imagine we might see a few more passes into the paint trying to draw that foul.
Might even see 1 or 2 of the Eagles try to draw a charge should somebody like McLean come barreling into the lane. Blazers get it to Amon, puts up a deep 3 and it falls. Good grief, that kid has been lights out.
You can shoot it from just about anywhere, it seems like.
Williams, 15 seconds on the shot clock, kicks it out to Chapman. Corner 3, returns it.
Chapman for 3.
So there was some communication between the referees. It looks like that will stand as a 3.
That makes Robert Chapman 1 for 2 from the arc.
Blazers get it inside from McLean, have to kick it back out. Amon again, 3. This time it's a little bit short. And that won't stop him from following up and putting in a 2 instead.
I think in that one, you could just see the panic of SU defenders when they saw, oh no, it's number 14 with the ball beyond the arc. We got to get there.
Moore to just a little bit short. Braylon Patterson fouled as he converts the second chance. Now we'll get to see if he can convert the and one. And one other thing, Luke, SCU is now in the bonus officially with 13 whole minutes left to go in this outing.
I gotta say, despite still being behind, it's been a great second half from the Eagles so far.
You've been doing everything right up until this point. I have to agree.
Braylon Patterson on a double-double watch, actually. He has 7 rebounds and 10 points.
He's almost there. Here he has a chance to add to that points column. And one opportunity, good. It's now a one-possession game for your Eagles.
Aaron Ryan working Larry Russ. I'll get Ryan on a foul here.
Indeed they will. We've seen the Eagles come back in many games so far this season. Here's the problem with the Eagles, though. They have a tendency to get back in the lead and then lose the intensity. We'll see if the Eagles can even get back to having a lead, and if they can, we'll see how they can respond. Don't get too caught up in finally being back on top. Keep the intensity going. Amon trying to cook Patterson. And that's either a shot clock violation or a ball out of bounds. Regardless, it will lead to Eagles possession.
Either way, Braylon Patterson pretty happy about that one. And here he is from the corner.
Corner three for Patterson, just short. Nobody in position to box out. Rusk won't take the screen. The Blazers continue to work the outside. Now Amon takes it in. Bumped by Chapman. That was a pretty obvious bump. I think he's going to get called for that just about every time.
If it wasn't for the bump, he might have actually had all ball on that swat, though. Just a little bit, again, unfortunate.
So they will say Amon was shooting, so he's at the line. I feel like he's made all of his free throws today, Luke.
Well, I'll check for you. Yeah, he has. 3 for 3. This one pinned him.
We'll see if he can make it 4 for 4. Robert Chapman sits down. Hopkins checks back in.
Tariq Amon, almost perfect from everywhere on the court. 7 for 9 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, 4 for 4 from free throws.
He's been an offensive presence you can't ignore. And speaking about presence you can't ignore, Sean Hopkins continues to work the restricted zone.
Dude, the body control and the ball control to put that ball in was just insane.
Rusk called his own number there. No points coming from it. And now Williams takes it inside and tries to return with a short 2.
Braylon Patterson with 8 rebounds now, inching ever closer to that double-double.
Amon covered by Ryan. So they'll switch. Now Amon's covered by Moore. Now Williams, the Blazers trying to get a mismatch somewhere, won't find it. Sean Hopkins brings that one down, almost stepping out of bounds in the process.
You can see Ronald Moore with his hand in Amon's face, threatening if he does pull it up for a 3, he's not going to get a clean look at the basket.
Mismatch inside, Braylon Patterson. He's going to be held by Rusk. They will say it's on the floor, so it will be a 1-and-1 for Patterson.
Trailblazers foul number 2, Larry Russ. Second foul. 18th foul.
No substitutions for the Eagles, but for the Trailblazers, Curtis Coleman checked back in.
At the line, Braylon Patterson.
Jules Moore, important to note, has 4 fouls on him right now.
That's big for the Eagles. He's just 2 away from sitting down for good in this one. It's also the main reason why he's not on the court right now. Weston inside from McLean, back out to Weston. Williams hesitation on the defense. Thankfully, doesn't come to bite him back as the 3 from Weston was off the money. Looks like the Eagles are going to continue to contest the painted zone. Now Ryan, 3, bottom.
It's good.
Darren Ryan puts away a 3, and it's a tie game here in Pickens Springer Gymnasium.
What a time for it. Tie game, that's Darren Ryan's first points of this night.
They couldn't have come at a better time. Mon takes it inside, finds some space. And a foul will be called. I think it'll be on the Blazers. I don't know if it's a foul or if they stepped out of bounds.
Not sure.
There was a little bit of a lack of clarity from the officiating team.
I don't see a foul being attributed to either team, so maybe a violation of some sort.
Hopkins spinning around, puts up a shot. Braylon Patterson's right there. Oh, he'll try to put it away. And finally the Blazers will come down to it after a tremendous force of effort from Hopkins and Patterson. McLean missed the layup, but Weston was there to put it away. Patterson to Williams. Williams now backing down Coleman. Kicks it out Ryan. 3 attempt again. Bottom once more for Darren Ryan.
What did I say? You got to find the high hand.
He's made 2 in a row from beyond the arc. And Luke, I think this is the first lead that the Eagles have had since 18 left on the clock in the first half. Amon wide open for 3. You can see it on Braylon Patterson's face. The breakdown in defensive coverage.
They got lucky with that one for sure. A chance to widen this lead here.
So Patterson will put it in for Hopkins. Kick it out to Ryan. Takes it inside this time. Now Moore, corner 3. Won't go there. Won't even attempt that one. Too much coverage for his liking. Drop inside for Hopkins and 1.
Flex
Sean
on him.
Hopkins is
Flex
flexing on him.
Tell him about yourself, Sean Hopkins.
And the crowd in Bethany is starting to heat up as the Eagles creep farther and farther away with their 3-point lead. Maybe 4, pending the and one opportunity from Sean Hopkins.
And you see for the Trailblazers, Demarion Thornton just left the court. He also has 4 fouls on him.
The fouls have been a major part of this second half in favor of the Eagles. Hopkins now 0 for 4, I believe, from the charity stripe.
1 for 5. 1 for 5.
1 for
He
5.
made that one.
I'm sorry. You're right, Luke. That's
Got to give our boy credit.
That was ignorant of me. So now Rusk finds Coleman, and now a wide open look for Weston. He'll take it inside. Shot clock winding down. Hopkins looks like he got enough of it to disrupt the shot, but it will last to be out on a Blazer, the Zebras say. Is Zebras a derogatory term?
I don't know.
Referees. They're referees.
They're refs. I was going to say the ref doesn't matter, but I feel like that might be where it starts to get derogatory.
Okay. Well, I mean, what do you call the umpire in baseball? You have a name for him, right?
Blue.
It's blue. And it looks like the Eagles got a time off in time. Well,
That entanglement looked a little bit strange from up here.
it did. I think there's something on the ground. Did somebody lose a tooth?
I can't see what's in his hand. Could be like a contact or something.
Maybe. I hope so. I hope it's not a tooth. Jeez. So the Eagles do indeed get the time off in time, and with 7:06 on the clock, your Eagles are up 59-56.
Well, we got a close game here, but that's not the only one across the SAC. Right now, it is the second half at Oklahoma City. Oklahoma Panhandle State came to town, but OCU winning 62-53. Over at Mid-America Christian, they are losing to Southwestern Assemblies of God University 68-54.
The last time SCU and SAGU played, they were neck and neck in the standings. Since then, SAGU has shot up the rankings. They're now number 3 in the SAC.
Yeah, they put it together just at the right time. Credit to them. And one more. Winding down in the second half, Wayland Baptist is at John Brown. They are winning 75-61. Definitely some good games from across the conference you'll want to keep an eye on. But it looks like this timeout is coming to a close as we get back into it here at Bethany.
Well, there are some great games out there, Luke, but none closer in the SAC than this one right here in Pickens Springer Gymnasium. We'll see if the Eagles can keep the heat going or if the UNT Dallas Trailblazers can cool things down.
Before play resumes, congrats to Braylon Patterson. He officially has his double-double. 10 rebounds, 11 points.
So the Eagles have possession after the timeout. Shot clock running low, though. Williams will have to put something up here. Spin, can't hardly hang on to it, has to fire a prayer, and it will be a shot clock violation. A little bit of a mental mistake there. I don't think that's super indicative of how they've been playing.
Credit to the Trailblazers defense too, not letting a clean look go.
So you look over at the scorer's table with 6:30 left in this game. You see number 10, Jules Moore, start to warm back up. I guess Coach Howard not too concerned about his foul count as this game starts to turn in favor of the Eagles.
At this point, the game is way too close. You've got to get your stars back in.
It's now a one-point affair as Darren Ryan leads his crew up the court. Ryan tries another three. His last two were money. He was just a little bit short this time. Come on, inside shot, no good. McLean, second chance. And Darren Ryan has the foul. So it will be an and one as the Trailblazers lead by one. Thornton will check back in. He's got 4 fouls. And for the Eagles, Jakeem Wynn checks in. Sean Hopkins will sit down and save his strength for the last few minutes.
Wise decision, I think. You've got guys on the floor for the Eagles that can keep this game close.
2 points, and Jules Moore checks in for the blue jerseys. It'll be interesting to see what Jakeem Wynn can bring to this lineup. You know that he's a defensive specialist, and Coach Rollins sees him as such. Luke, you think he trusts the offense to run enough without him?
I think the offense can run well enough and include him. We saw him early on in this game be a big factor into SU's lead. We'll see if he can't get the same thing going here.
So Moore will put one away as the other Moore backs down Patterson. His shot in and out, this time pulled down by Ronald Moore. Williams gets it to Ryan, corner three. It's money. Darren Ryan tearing up behind the arc. So now the Blazers will have to respond Patterson getting in the head of Coleman. You can't guard me. You can't score on me.
It's crazy that a sophomore can do that to a senior, but when you're that talented.
Jules Moore kicks it out to Coleman. So it will be a foul. I think that's going to be on Darren Ryan. So it will be in the act of shooting, and that's the 6th team foul. So any more fouls moving forward will be at the very least 1-and-1s for the Trailblazers.
And you saw it there. Darren Ryan did not think there was a foul there.
Coleman's first shot bounces around but finds the bottom of the net. And his second no good, pulled down by Ronald Moore.
SU shooting 40% or better from both the field and from three.
Williams takes it inside, kicks out to Ryan for three. A little bit too much. Ronald Moore of the Eagles has it though. Backs down Jules Moore. Oh, and an aggressive throw bounces off of Ronald Moore. And the Trailblazers have it.
I'm going to be honest, Moore probably should have given that one up to Williams. They're standing at the free throw line. He had a pretty good look at the basket, but oh well.
Eagles up 2. During the final 4 minutes. Jules Moore has to get it to Thornton, back to Moore. He puts up a deep 2, just a little bit too much. Weston pulls it down. There's a fresh 20 for the Trailblazers. Now Amon takes it inside. That pass, I'm not even sure who it was intended for. Moore, Patterson puts it up and one for Braylon Patterson.
Talk to him, kid. You're having yourself a night.
And the Eagles now have the momentum, the crowd presence, and the confidence to be able to put this one away. We'll see if they can stay focused enough to finish this one strong.
Braylon Patterson.
Patterson and one opportunity good. Referee blowing the whistle. I don't know.
They ran 3 seconds off the shot clock, so maybe it was just that wasn't started.
Maybe. Again, normally the broadcasting duo is at the scorer's table so they can hear what's going on. Luke, we are on the exact opposite side, raised about 20 feet in the air.
We got a nice court view, but yeah, we don't get to hear what's going on.
You get pretty good, though, at reading the referee's hand signals. So we're hitting the 3-minute mark. Eagles up 3. Jakeem Wynn takes it inside. Shot no good.
Interesting decision there, gotta say.
Still a lot of time on the clock. Probably should have just been a little bit more patient. Amon lulls Moore to sleep, and that's an easy wide open lane for Tariq Amon. Yeah, Ronald Moore got caught napping there.
I think he was looking for a pass. Amon had a pretty good, just a slight turn of the head, and it was enough to blow right past him.
Patterson, room for 3. Just a little off the mark. He's still fighting for the rebound. And a foul has been assessed. A technical on Jules Moore for kicking at the legs of Braylon Patterson.
That's 5 fouls on Jules Moore. And that technical is huge right now.
Times like these, Luke, I wish we had replay, but a technical has been assessed on Moore. You can't take that back now. So it looks like the closest official said that he kicked up at Braylon Patterson as he was trying to get back into the play.
We got technical foul on number 10 for tripping.
So Braylon Patterson's at the line to shoot.
That's his 5th foul.
So Braylon Patterson put in harm's way. Technically, wasn't a play on the ball, so they're going to assess a technical. All in all, that works out super well for the Eagles.
Yes.
You took a lot of time off the clock. 2 free throws after the technical foul, and now the Eagles have possession once again, I believe. Or maybe not. I think UNT Dallas did have the ball whenever they said that Moore kicked at Patterson. So it's still a 1-possession game here in Pickens-Springer Gymnasium. As we approach the 2-minute mark, the Trailblazers down 3 look to make anything happen to get them closer to coming out with a victory. Coleman, 3. No good. It's Ronald Moore who brings it down.
I don't know if you could hear that on the broadcast, but the SU bench was faking the shot clock running down, and it worked perfectly.
Can't let that get into your head as a competitor. You have to know who your friends and who your enemies are. As Jakeem Wynn turns that one over. Weston shot no good. McLean's there to clean it up. And so now the Eagles are only up 1, and they're in no rush. And so they will call a timeout. Coach Rollins and company regroup the troops with 1:16 left. Up by 1, 69-68. You do have possession.
Full timeout, Eagles.
So it will be a full timeout. Just a reminder, as the basketball regular season starts to wrap up, your Eagles will close things down February 16th at Oklahoma City, and then the final game of the season, February 18th, at home against John Brown University.
Definitely 2 games to look forward to there. And the one at John Brown is at home, I believe. So if you can make it out to that one, I promise it'll be worth the drive.
We're looking to pack out Pickens-Springer Gymnasium for the last game of the year. If you can make it, we want you to be here. We will celebrate a few of our seniors that didn't get the recognition tonight. We're still waiting on families to make it into town. Those being Jonathan Baruti and Lou Machado, who is out today. So once again, you're not going to want to miss the final game, the final home game of the season, February 18th at home against John Brown. So Coach Rollins and company have taken a full timeout, 1:16 left. Luke, I know you didn't play a whole lot of basketball growing up, but what would you do in this situation?
If I'm the Eagles?
Absolutely.
Take my time. Get the ball to Darren Ryan, get the ball to Ronald Moore. Maybe even some Braylon Patterson in there. He's had himself a night. But ultimately, it's running down that clock.
So Eagles work the outside edge, 4 to shoot. Ryan takes it in. Doesn't quite hit the rim. Trailblazers have it, and they're fast to get back. Weston, his shot good. So now the Blazers have the lead.
There you go. You got to work a little bit quick. You want to guarantee yourself one more possession at the end of the game.
Hopkins has a lane, calls his number, bounces around and falls in. So now a timeout has been called. Another one, 35.7 on the clock.
30-second timeout.
You have to have one last good defensive possession. And barring that happening, just got to get back on offense. But first, you got to have defense. You're looking at Jakeem Wynn. You're looking at Sean Hopkins and Braylon Patterson and Ronald Moore, all superb athletes, able to get up, have the hops. I'll be honest, Luke, I'm kind of surprised that we're not seeing Jonathan Barudian for this final possession.
It's an interesting dynamic for sure. Rudy he hasn't played much at all tonight, has he? They've been relying on their younger, more athletic guys like Darren Ryan, Braylon Patterson, John Hopkins.
Another full timeout has been assessed by the Trailblazers, so we'll keep things rolling in the break here.
Here's an interesting thing to think about. SU has possession on a jump ball. That could be a very interesting strategic, variable to throw in there as we wind this one down.
It's definitely a tool that the Eagles can use. Quick update as to the Sooner Athletic Conference men's basketball standings. At number 1 stands Langston, far and away the best team in conference play so far this year at 17-2. And it's Wayland Baptist, Sagu, and then Oklahoma City. Science and Arts is at number 5, 12-8. Then Texas Wesleyan, John Brown, and then this battle tonight, UNT Dallas and Southwestern Christian, just a game apart, the two of them. The winner tonight comes out on top, holds the sole ownership of the 8th seed. Mid-America Christian, Central Christian, and then the OPSU Aggies round out the final standings of the Sooner Athletic Conference.
End of year basketball is really it's a spectacle, isn't it? When you get such good teams throughout the conference going at it, games like this, running it down, 1-point lead, who's going to come out on top?
1-point game indeed, Luke. Weston of the Trailblazers didn't have a look he liked, so Coach Howard calls another timeout. Both of these teams blowing through their timeouts, showing you how important this game is.
Yeah, if there's any coach that's going to know when to use his timeouts and how much is at stake, it's Joshua Howard for the Trailblazers.
No doubt. Well, Luke, this has been a fun season up until this point. I gotta say, it's been great watching all this Eagles basketball. And as it wraps up, the fun doesn't have to stop. Baseball and softball are kicking off. In fact, they've already kicked off, Luke.
Yeah.
The baseball team is currently in Shreveport, Louisiana for the Cajun Collision. And the softball team and baseball team look to make their home debut February 17th. It's going to be fun. You can catch the broadcast at the exact same place you always do, SCUeagles.com and the SCU Athletic page on YouTube.
We're expecting great seasons for both teams.
Here we are getting things back underway. 15 seconds left. Amon gets past Moore, kicks it out. Now Coleman tries his luck, drops it. McLean, bottom, 8 seconds on the clock. Eagles get it in. Darren Ryan touched it. Referee is calling his bad. So I imagine they're going to put 8 seconds back on the clock. 8.4 seconds on the clock. Looks like somebody missed a timeout, and this game now relies in the hands of the Eagles.
Who do you give it to?
That's the question, isn't it?
I mean, you've got Sean Hopkins and Braylon Patterson on the floor for the Eagles right now. I feel like those are your 1 and 2 options.
Man, it's hard to think about because so many of these guys have been so good tonight. I mean, normally my go-to answer would be Ronald Moore, but he's just 3 for 10 on the evening. Jakeem Wynn hasn't made a shot since his very first 2 at the beginning of this game. I think the answer is Sean Hopkins.
I think so,
I think
too.
we'll get it to Sean Hopkins. He's proved he can score in the paint. But not only that, he's proved he can get fouled and get to the line. And you don't have to make both of them if you're fouled. You just have to make one, tie it back up, and then get back into overtime strong.
Who's got Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs?
This is proving to be quite the ending, just like I thought it would be. 1 point lead, 8 seconds left.
Who doesn't really care? They just want to eat a bunch of great food.
All right. Timeout has come to an end, and we will see what Coach Rollins has drawn up for his boys. I'm not going to be so vain as to say the season relies on this, but you don't have to come away with a win. But if you don't win here tonight, you're in a deep hole come the rest of the season. Williams inside shot, no good. Moore bopped in the face.
No foul.
The clock strikes 0. Your Eagles fall at home in the final seconds, 71-72. A heartbreaking end to senior day.
Oh, they drew it up for Jordan Williams, and he had a lane and just didn't fall.
And we'll see you next time. Have a great,
Ronald Moore caught a little bit of a body part to the face there at the end. No foul called. Well, once again, a heartbreaking loss at home for senior day. Your Eagles falling 71-72. Once again, the 16th and the 18th are the final 2 games for the Eagles. We want to close things out strong at home on the 18th, the final game of the season. Make sure you're there. For Luke Young, I'm Parker Lane. Have a fantastic rest of your day.